Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Estate Hack Factory. It's another great day here in beautiful Charleston, and I have a very special guest with us today, Christina Daves from PR for Anyone. Hello, Christina. Welcome. Great to see you.
Oh, it's so good to see you again. I know everything's Zoom now and not in person, but next closest thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's kind of, I guess, the way of the world these days, and probably going to stay that way for a while. I think even after the COVID thing kind of dissipates, I think we've all found a new way to connect.
Yeah. I think we still need some human interaction, though. So I'm hoping it goes back a little bit.
Yeah. Well, for you folks that aren't familiar with Christina and what she does, she is the creator and founder and CEO and chief bottle washer of PR for Anyone. She's a serial entrepreneur, award-winning inventor, and she's going to share today how she got started without any experience in PR, with no media contacts, and it has now ended up on over 50 different media outlets in her first year. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the first year. It's been over 1,000 since then.
1,000? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, that's fantastic. And, you and I have chatted about, different parts of PR and how to get that free exposure. And that's really what you're all about, is the free exposure and not going out and paying for that PR, paying for those press releases and all those things that typically we're done.
It's expensive. It is much less expensive to take some training to learn how to do this, and then you know it forever. My grandmother used to always say, whatever someone teaches you, nobody can take away. So learn the system, learn how to get media. You can hire someone on your team or a virtual assistant who can implement it as long as you know the strategy. But a PR firm can run you $10,000 a month, a good one.
Yeah,
expensive.
That's really expensive. And, you have been on so many different outlets, media, television, the Steve Harvey show, was it the Today Show? I know you're a regular there in Washington on the Washington Morning Show as well, and other shows there.
Yeah, and I followed my own system. But it works because when you get this exposure, first of all, it exposes you to so many more in the real estate space, so many more sellers and buyers, but it also gives you that credibility. Can't tell you how many of my clients walk into listing appointments and, the seller has a question and they can pull out an iPad with a TV interview or pull out a copy of Realtor.com or Women's Health Magazine or Wall Street Journal. And you really stand out with those sellers and buyers when you're seen as a real estate expert because you've been in the media.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And I use that personally myself, and I can tell you how effective it really is. Well, we've kind of talked about, what you're doing but not how you got there. Why don't we start there? Because it's a really amazing story.
Yeah, it's kind of a desperation story. I had owned a retail store forever, got really burned out. I retired from being an entrepreneur, and we were on vacation and I had a freak accident and I broke my foot. And if anyone's ever been in those big, ugly, black medical boots, some are gray, but they're awful. I was put in one right before we were going to New York. So I'm on the train looking, New York City, fashion capital of the world. There's going to be something that's going to make this boot look good. And there was nothing on the market. And literally the light bulbs went off. I started designing some things. I figured out that Velcro works really well on all kinds of boots. And I designed, flowers and fur cuffs and socks, like anything to make it look good and to change the conversation from, oh gosh, Keith, what happened, to, oh my gosh, what a great idea. And we launched it. We manufactured. I made some poor hiring decisions in having people help me, which we've all done.
Oh, yeah.
I lost a lot of money and I had a lot of product that I had to sell. And I didn't have anything left for PR advertising. So I figured out publicity on my own. I figured out a system that when I did these three things, it worked consistently. And the first year of business in over 50 media outlets, one of which was the Steve Harvey Show, which is syndicated, which runs all the time, which I sold a ton of product. And then you get the itch. You're like, oh, I need more. I need more. This is free and I can sell a lot of stuff. So I just got really good at doing it. And then people started asking me for help, and I started helping people do it. And that literally launched a whole nother business.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing story right there. And then you've taken it, to other levels too, where you're helping other entrepreneurs, other inventors launch their products and get them the free PR as well. So that's right up real estate's alley.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I was actually at lunch with an old dear friend who happens to be the president of a real estate company. And, hey, what are you doing? When I told him all these programs and things that I was doing for inventors and entrepreneurs, he said, oh my gosh, can you create a program in the real estate space? We need to learn how to do this. And I did. And that was, I think, 6 years ago. And it has gone gangbusters ever since. I mean, I have agents who are increasing their sales $20 million a year just learning how to do media.
Yeah. And it's not a secret, but you have to know the steps, the proper steps in doing it.
Well, to save you time. I mean, anyone can figure this out. I figured it out. It just took me years to figure out the process. Right. It's no big secret. It's just doing it well, and doing it consistently, and you will have success. You will.
Yeah. It's like, being an overnight success in 15 years, it takes a while.
My husband gave me that saying, and I have it on my desk. So I live by that.
Yeah, it's, you have to stick with it, but, you'll also be amazed, as I was, how easy it is to do and how fast the results happen.
They do.
And I know one of the things that you've talked about, and I post your Friday free tips. Every Friday I get those, love those.
Yeah.
We put them up, but I know you're talking about having your bio ready, having your story together, so that when the media does come to you, when you do submit something, they're going to check you out.
And you have to check out. This is really important. If you get nothing else from this, it's so important. And because people are going to check you out, your potential buyers and sellers are going to throw your name into Google. What do they see when they do it? Open a private browser and see what pops up, because you have cookies in your system. Right. Just open a private browser and check it out, because that's what they're going to see. And then throw your competitor's name in and see, if there's somebody you're always head to head with on listings, and imagine then if you had, because the media stuff is going to come up way at the beginning because they have so much Google juice. So imagine if USA Today comes up, Wall Street Journal comes up, whatever your local media is that features you as the expert. Who do you think they're going to want to work with?
Right.
It's easy.
Yeah. And, it happens all the time to real estate agents. And it happened to me the other day. I walked into a listing appointment, and literally he had his computer open on the kitchen table with me pulled up on it. And he started going through all of what I do and what's there. And, it's the same thing. So whether it's the media checking you out or your potential client checking you out, that's what, that's why you need to have such a strong bio, such a strong presence. It gives you that street cred, if you would, right?
Yeah, that's perfect. Exactly. You've got to have it. And because think of, I always turn things around with my clients. Think about you if you're checking out two people to work with, and you see what you see on yours and you see what you see on your competitors. Which one are you going to hire? Right,
exactly. And when you're quoted in U.S. News and World Report, in Reby, okay, or Realtor.com.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gold. I mean, your mama will be very proud of you, first of all, for getting there. Look, Mom, I'm on TV, or I'm in this magazine, or I'm in this newspaper, and it's a great thing to share. And that's the other thing is you don't be bashful about it. You can't be a secret agent. And if you do get publicity, if your story is picked up, you need to share it. You need to have people be aware of what you're doing, even if it's in your private Facebook group or your personal Facebook group. Let people know. They get tired of seeing, new listing, or I just sold this, or doing whatever. But it gives you that credibility again, even if you share it within your inner circle, your sphere of influence.
Yeah, and it gets your foot in the door again. All your prospects, send them the article. You're exactly right. Don't just say, oh, I have a new listing. Oh, I have this. Send them something different that they might actually open because that's interesting to them. And then they're going to refer you to people too. Say, oh, well, my real estate agent's on TV. My real estate agent's quoted in the paper all the time. There's just, like you said, it's street cred. It just elevates you to a whole different level.
Yeah. And one of the to me anyway, one of the fastest ways of getting it is to use a reporter platform, I guess is probably the best thing that to refer to as, but help out a reporter or Harrow.
Right.
And you can actually have that delivered to you every single day, 3 times a day. I
have a new client who has never been in the media. We just started working together. A query came out from a very popular real estate blog, and she needed an agent in Virginia. So because I'm used to doing this, I haven't even taught my client how to do it yet. And I replied back to her and I said, oh, I've got an agent. Long story short, she's in the article. She's the agent that they're using. So from the second she hired me, literally 2 hours later, I've already got her in the media. Like, that's how fast this works, learning how to do it. Harrow is 100% worth your time and effort, especially in the real estate space, because they have so many real estate queries. They do. It's almost every day.
Yeah, they do. And here's 2 hacks that I'm going to share right now about that I use for reporters to pick up either my pitch or the response to their query. And I write it out. So the first part of this, the first hack is when you write it out, don't get over technical. Keep it really maybe like 10th grade, 12th grade readership kind of reading.
I say 8th grade.
What grade?
Most media is taught to write to an 8th grade level.
Okay, 8th grade. Yeah, I was a little bit higher. Yeah. So write it that way. But the other hack is this, and anyone can do it, and it's free. If you don't have it in your system, you can do it. Chrome and Gmail have. It's a free extension. I shoot a video to that reporter. Now, sometimes they don't always put their names in, but I just do. Hey, Christina, just responding to your query about, wanting to know about new technologies, emerging technologies in real estate. I'm really excited about it. We've employed some, great stuff in our brokerage, and it's below this video. Just wanted to say hi in person. Let me know if you need any more help, or if you want to do an interview. I'm available for that too. And that's it. It's a 30-second video. And the amount of open rates that you get from that, it's incredible. I mean, who doesn't like to have a personal video addressed to them and acknowledging what they're doing? And then, of course, you give them, your response.
Right.
So that's a hack that works pretty well. For me, it's done that. And I've shared that with a bunch of people and they've had success with it as well. Aside from having the street cred, having your bio read and understood, and it's very clear, and you're speaking to your target audience. What other best piece of advice would you share with the group that you think would kind of get them over to that point of becoming that regular go-to real estate person for information?
You want to start local. No question that's the easiest way to get media exposure. In the local papers, I mean, that's your target market, the people who are reading that. Get to know your writers and your editors. Pick up the phone. Used to be you could say, hey, let's get a cup of coffee. I guess Starbucks is open again. But don't hesitate to send an email, send a video that says, hey, I'm a local agent, been here for 20 years. If you ever need any help with real estate, statistic, facts, other people in the industry, not just you, offer up value. That's a great way to do it. If you're new, don't let that hinder you. I hear this all the time, like, well, I'm a brand new agent. Why would anyone use me? Remember what you bring from your past world into the real estate space. Right. You have experience. You have expertise. Maybe you were a government contractor. The stay-at-home moms, if you ran the swim team, the booster club, anything like that, that's running a business. So don't let that. I always say, never say you're a new agent. You're just newly affiliated with X company. That's all you have to say. And you can. I have a former client had his license for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Wow. Landed in the Washington Post. Within 6 weeks, he had $5 million plus listings. He's now a luxury agent. He did $24 million his first year in business.
Holy smokes, that's incredible.
Brand new agent. He came from Bed Bath & Beyond. He was a manager at Bed Bath & Beyond. But what he did is he took his social media expertise that he did at his local store and converted that to the real estate space. That's the article that he got, how he sells homes using Facebook ads. They didn't know he hadn't sold any homes yet. He knew he could do it because he'd been doing this with his store, and he just blew up his business.
Yeah, that's amazing that, he was able to do that. That's a feat. It's incredible to do that your very first year. The other part is, okay, you can wait for Harrow to come to you 3 times a day, and it doesn't come to you on Saturday and Sunday, but Monday through Friday it comes. And the other way of doing it is going out and approaching the reporters, right, with maybe a unique story or a unique situation that happened to you that you want to share, because they're always looking for something that's newsworthy to put out.
Oh, always, always. 70% of the stories that you see in the media are generated from people like us pitching our story ideas. It used to be so glamorous to be a journalist or a TV anchor. Well, now they're writing all their own stuff. Sometimes they're editing, sometimes just them and a film, a camera person. Yep. So the world has changed. So if you can become valuable to them and pitch good stories, don't say inventory's up, inventory's down, interest rates are up, interest rates are down. Give some meat. If there's a study that came out like NAR, Trulia, somebody like that, and you can bring that study home. I'm in the DC metropolitan area. We are an anomaly because of all the government and federal workers that we have here. So usually when there are studies, like national studies, we don't fall into that, or not right away. So that's a great thing. I tell local agents to do that. Take that study and say, wait a minute, no, that's not going to happen here because X, Y, and Z. Newsjacking, like what's going on in your community. Again,
that's one of my favorite terms that I've learned from you, the newsjacking. Yeah.
Oh, it's easy. So right before COVID hit, I had one of my agents who from the DC area, and I work with agents across the country, but I'll just use a couple examples here because Amazon HQ2 is coming here. So she was going on vacation to visit family in Seattle. But what she did is she pitched the producer before she left and said, hey, I'm going to go do some research on what happened in Seattle when Amazon came to the real estate market. So we can use that here. Producer loved it. I think they did 2 or 3 spinoffs of that. And again, that's newsjacking. That's what's hot right now. So think about COVID. My agents have been in the media nonstop from when it started, when the Fed cut the rates and the stock market plummeted, but real estate exploded. One of my agents got on talking about that. Then all of a sudden, we had the virtual open houses. Should you, shouldn't you? It's essential personnel, essential business, but should you really be doing open houses? And so it just anything related to it. One of my clients pitched at the end of the quarter, what the real estate market was doing in his area at the end of the quarter. So that was like a good, media loves numbers. They love,
Sure.
what was it doing? What was the next quarter going to bring?
Yep.
So there's just so much opportunity. And the agent yesterday, I should have looked at it. There was a study that came out that the state of Virginia is most home improvement friendly.
Oh, really?
I don't know why, but she
Oh.
was writing an article about that. And that's what my agent in Richmond, Virginia, was able to provide value to her and answer her questions and be the person that she used.
Yeah. And, I want to throw this out there as well. Newsjacking is great. You see the stories all over the place, but another really great place that I found, and I just saw this morning, and the light bulb went off over my head, because I'm going to be sending this out to the local reporter here that covers the Charleston area. It was on social media, and it was a person that, I don't know how I was connected to them, whatever, a group, something. But they're a consumer, and they posted, do you think real estate agents should be going out and doing door knocking during COVID? And the responses blew up.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure. Both sides, I'm sure.
Yeah. And now, you could take that, and, that's a topic I could tell you pretty much hasn't been covered by the media in depth. And, should it take place? And that's always an ongoing debate to begin with. Never mind COVID, do door knocking or don't do door knocking.
Right.
But this is doing it during COVID. And this person put out her entire story about how it happened at 7:00 at night during dinner, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, it ignited a firestorm. So, go to social media, see what's hot.
And when you see that, just to give you an extra little edge, when you pitch that story, pitch it and say, hey, here's a thread on social media. Or just screenshot it. There were 1,000 comments.
Yeah.
Because when they know it's a hot topic like that's it, almost instant yes.
Yeah, absolutely true. So that's another good way. Check out social media. Don't ignore it. We see it time and time again, stories over and over in there, but the media is not always covering them. They're not always looking. They're busy writing their stories, or they've got their program that they're following for their stories that are due, from their editors. So,
and follow your journalists on social media. That's really important too. Another great story of a client, the real estate agent, the journalist needed a real estate agent, is what he put out on Twitter, in this certain community to talk about how sales had been increasing like crazy. Well, one of my clients was a home stager, not a real estate agent, but she tweeted right back and said, listen, I'm not an agent, but I stage homes in that area. I've got a beautiful one we could use. And because I've been staging so many homes, I can tell you about the growth of this community, the growth in real estate sales. Boom. He was the immediate answer she was the immediate answer to what he needed, switched the story just a little bit and ended up using a home stager instead of a realtor. So don't think you've got to be cookie cutter with everything. She thought outside of the box and landed on NBC. It was brilliant.
Yeah. And, I've done the same thing outside of the industry, because that adds, in my opinion, even more credibility to you and who you are. It was about technology, but it didn't have anything to do with real estate. It was smart homes, which could be real estate, but not really. That's more the techie guys talking about that stuff. And I see new homes all the time, and the new technology is going in. My alter ego is a techie, believe it or not, and I love this stuff. So, my house has got every bell and whistle technology-wise that you could possibly have. And I responded, and it's in a different publication outside the real estate realm, but it gives you, that credibility as well. You could step outside of your industry and look, at the end of the day, you're a person. You experience so many different things in your life. You have so many different things to share. It doesn't always have to be directly real estate related in order for you to get that credibility, to earn your credibility.
Yeah.
Well, I know that you're busy. You've got an amazing schedule. Where are we going to see you in public next? Do you have something scheduled?
I hope, yes, I should be live, Hyperfest agent in October. So I think we met there, but I'll be there again this year. So that's in the Northern Virginia area.
Yeah, that's right. That was the summit up there. That was pretty awesome. Cool. Well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for you. Let us know. Post in the group if you'd like to tell us where you are, any success stories from any of your clients or people that you're working with, real estate agents or otherwise. Love to have those stories. This is something that real estate agents really don't think about. They think about a budget for marketing and advertising. They never think about the PR, and they shy away from it because, again, that budget really can't be stretched that far for it. But there's so many ways to get the free PR. And Christina, you're a genius at this. And I would suggest that any agent that is watching this now or in the future, get a hold of Christina. And you actually have a challenge, don't you? You have
I do. I have a PR challenge, yourprchallenge.com. I'm getting ready to update it. It's still super good. It's 10 days, not even 10 minutes a day. And the other thing is I did a kind of a deeper dive of what we've talked about today. If you go to getpresstoday.com, that's just totally specific to real estate agents getting media. It's a guide. So there's no cost. You can just go there and download it.
Okay, awesome. Actually, I'll put a link at the bottom of the video for people to follow it there. And what's the best way for people to reach you directly if they have questions or they want to know more about getting free PR?
I know. I always joke. I'm like, if you can't find me online, I have a big problem. Just go to ChristinaDaves.com.
ChristinaDaves.com. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. Christina, thanks again for your time. Thanks so much for your talent. You're an amazing person. It's wonderful to have you here and to having gotten to know you over time. It's been fantastic. And I'm looking forward to seeing you out there in the press again real soon.
Yeah, thanks. You all too. Take care.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.